Guys, this might be my last stream. Welcome to episode 20 of PocketBased. PocketBased is the premier dev channel for all things PocketBase, PocketHost, and PocketPages. PocketStar. Everyone calls me Cap. I am the creator of PocketHost, the open source project, and I also maintain pockethost.io, the paid hosting service. PocketHost, the open source project, is free, but paid hosting does cost me money, so therefore it costs you money too. I made PocketHost so I could deploy new PocketBased instances easily, and that's exactly what it does. So if you haven't checked it out yet, go check out PocketHost. You can get up and running in seconds and forget everything you thought you knew about self-hosting. I also made the open source project PocketPages, which is server-side pages for PocketBase. PocketPages represents a shift to an ultra-modern web stack, a thin front end that we call the HAP stack, powered by HTMX, Alpine.js, and PocketPages. No more complicated front-end build chains or deployment. You can edit PocketPages live and iterate quickly to get to your MVP probably 10 times faster. We're using it in a game we're working on called Kingdom. Kingdom is a real-time multiplayer game that uses PocketBase, PocketHost, and PocketPages. You can playtest it with me live, and you can also contribute to the GitHub repo. We've got a Discord community with over 1,500 members. There's always stuff going on in there. I encourage you to check it out. Come on in. We'll make you feel right at home. All of those links and more are below in the description. Leave a comment, give us a like, give us a sub. If you do sign up for a paid PocketHost account, you'll get some extra goodies with that too. In this episode, we make updates to Kingdom. We hide opponent tile strengths. We refactor the room state. We use custom real-time event deltas for very efficient real-time updates. We take another look at the mysterious world of YouTube engagement. And finally, we check in on Discord and make a few modifications to OBS. Let's get into it. Okay, cool. It seems like we're live. So let me catch everybody up. I've been working a little bit this morning already. There's a new feature of PocketBase, and it has to do with the real-time ability. So check this out. Down here in real-time messaging, it is now possible to send custom real-time messages to various topic channels. So you can subscribe to a topic name, and then you can broadcast messages straight to that topic name. This got me thinking, instead of relying on watching collections, we can more efficiently stream deltas through our custom topic. So that means that we can also consolidate rooms and rooms private. So let's review what we've done today. You now only see your own tile powers. You don't see the opponent's tile powers. Here's another session on my phone. You see on this session, it shows my tile powers for the phone's player, but not for the opponent's. And on the Chrome browser, it shows the same thing for the Chrome player, but not the opponent's. So that's one big update. Another big update is happening here in the real-time data. When I make an update, instead of resending the whole grid, it sends a very efficient delta now. And this delta is sanitized so it only contains the information that that user is allowed to see. Along with that, I've completely locked down the Rooms API. There's now no public access to the Rooms table at all. Rooms private has gone away. Right there, we're deleting it. We don't need it. So Rooms now contains everything. Look at this Rooms table. It's got the grid. It's got the health of each tile, which player's occupying each tile. It's got all of the players, how many coins they have, how much health they have overall. And then the backend code sanitizes everything based on which user is asking for it. This all comes out of some relatively new features in PocketBase 24, real-time messaging, where from the client side, you can subscribe to any topic, and on the server side, you can broadcast to that topic. So no longer do you just have to subscribe to collection. You can create your own custom topics, and that's what we did here. Just to bring the point home a little further, let's reset the grid. We're back to a blank slate. Now watch this. In the browser's real-time, if I join a cell, you see that it sends me some information like has prize, the grid health, things like that. Now, if an opponent joins a cell, you'll see that it sends much less information. It just says there's a player there. The Chrome client doesn't have much information about the opponent. So this is building toward data security and secrecy in terms of strategic advantage. So let's jump into the code and see what's going on. because there are a lot of updates here. First, let's take a look at our type updates. So we consolidated the public and private room data into just one record. It has the prize index, and we also renamed round expiry to round started at. That's not a big deal, but the big deal is the consolidation that happened here. Inside the front end page, we made an enhancement here. I learned that if you subscribe to the event PB Connect, you can be notified when a new real-time connection is established. That's important because then when you open up the browser again, or if there's been a disconnect event, you haven't been receiving real-time events, so you need to refresh the grid. So let's stage just that change and go into change set here and add a patch for it. We'll call it enhancement, refresh grid on real-time reconnect. Okay, so we've added that change set now, and we will then store the change set. Let's use the same text for the commit message. It's a little bit duplicative that you have to retype it in the commit message, but I really like how change set manages the changelog for me, so I do it. All right, moving on. We've completely replaced the room collection subscription with a subscription to our custom topic, which is room deltas. Those deltas come in, we traverse through all the way to the leaf nodes because they come in this dotted notation because it's a delta, and we update the room state that way. We've consolidated the time remaining calculation. Here's where we refactored to use round started at instead of round expiry. The join command no longer returns a room state. Instead, we rely on the real-time connection to update that room state. And finally, we only show the tile health indicator if it's actually present. So that's it for front-end updates. Not too many updates going on there. A lot of the big updates are in the back end here. This is almost a total rewrite, this room.js, where we manage the rooms. We have get room state and set room state. There's no more public room state, just get and set. We also have it initialized to a normalized state, which isn't perfect, but it's good enough that if you just wipe out the grid because you want to start the testing over, it'll do it for you. But here's the big addition, push room state. Now this is interesting. You give it a room ID, a state, and an extra filter. The extra filter is there so that you can only send this update to certain clients that are listening. For example, you might want to send a particular update only to the user that owns that data. So this is a really intelligent way of routing real-time events. And then we have a sanitized room state that will sanitize the room state for a given user. And that is, it will remove sensitive information that user shouldn't see, and it will leave present the information that is okay for the user to see. So for example, when you go to first log in, it grabs the room state and it sanitizes the room state for that particular user and then returns the room state as part of the login. The join code has been significantly updated. We're using get, set, and push room state. So again, all the public state stuff went away, but here's where the new magic happens. This is where the delta happens. We begin the delta by simply saying that a player joined a cell. That's all most of the players need to know, is that a player joined the cell. Then we push that room state and we push it to everyone who is not the player that joined the cell. After that, we add things to the delta. We add the privileged information for the player who did join the cell, and we push that only to the player who did join the cell. And you saw that before, that the real-time event data is different based on whether you own the cell or not. Good, so that's today's Kingdom update. I wanted to talk about how much I enjoy live streaming because it keeps me accountable, I'm finding. I was actually reading about this. I found somebody's post on X and they were saying the same thing. Oh, I think it was the Coolio? Why do I want to say Coolio? That's not what it is. Is it? Is it called Coolio? I think that's that's a rapper. Yeah. Coolify. Posting this guy. Yeah, this dude right here. I can't find it because I don't know how to search for posts, but somewhere in here, he talked about how he didn't think live streaming while programming would be that helpful, but then he discovered that it actually helps him stay on task and stay focused on things. And I'm finding the same. So I've noticed on days when I live stream my development session, I ship a feature. And on days when I don't live stream my development session, I don't ship a feature. And in fact, this morning I was awake, just sitting on the couch, tinkering around. And in the back of my mind, I was like, I should really be live streaming if I want to ship something today. And so I moved over to the desk, combed my hair, and turned on the live stream. I also wanted to give you an update on our little video engagement experiment. So we had this one called Viewer Challenge Hack for Coins. And you can see it's 4 up and 3 down right now. But look at the analytics on this. I do think there's something here. This signal right here, in the first 2 hours, we got 250 hits. So that beats even the other one. Now, engagement, though, is actually not as good. On the last one, over half the people stayed and watched. On this one, only 34% watched. So views were up, engagement was down. I'm not sure on the analytics whether it counts as a view if they swiped away. I'm guessing probably not. In the first 2 hours, it was shown 714 times. It was viewed 243 times. So less engagement, but bigger rotation. There is something to be learned from this, and we will continue investigating it. This is a big difference. So in the first 2 hours, this one got 30 views. By the end of the first day, it was up to the same number of views as our experimental one, and the engagement was better, about half and half. So I don't know if you really need an initial rocket ship ride like this, but what if you had one where it just kept going? You know, that's that viral pattern. So I think this matches more of a viral pattern than the other one, but you know, it's so little data to go on. But it is interesting how they catch up with each other over time. I always like to share what's going on Discord. First of all, Stream is going crazy right now with signups, so I don't know, something might be happening. Yesterday we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 subs. Today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 subs, and we're only halfway through the day. So it does seem that some momentum is picking up. Just for fun, check out the stats. New users in the last 24 hours, 9. New users in the last 7 days, 50. This one here, total pro subscribers, we've really pushed up this number. This used to be like under 10. So all of these subscribers coming through here are pro subscribers. We're also picking up a few more Flounder subscribers too. Every once in a while, somebody buys a lifetime edition. And look at this, over 1,000 instances run in the last 24 hours. Moving into the chat, maybe you guys can donate to this guy. This guy says, I need more money to become a flounder. But he said he has a wife. He has a wife already. So, you know, the point of the flounder is to try to get a girlfriend, and he's already well past that. Here's a guy with a question about hosting his app on Vercel. You know, I don't recommend doing this. I have a doc about it here, server-side antipattern. You guys should read this if you have time. I wrote this because a lot of people try to run PocketBase and then run a separate Node.js backend to power their Next.js application or their SvelteKit application. No. Go server-side generated, or better yet, go PocketPages and skip the whole front-end stack mess. When you call PocketBase from your backend, you may inadvertently create a bottleneck because your backend is then doing another hop calling out to an HTTP service like PocketBase to get all of your data. That's generally pretty inefficient. PocketBase is meant to be called directly from the client side. So when you call it from the server side, you're doing something that's antithetical to the architecture of PocketBase. So there's the double hop problem. There's also the JWT state management complexity. You have to forward that JWT to your Next.js server. Then you have to forward it over again to the PocketBase server. In some cases, you may want to introduce rate limiting on your PocketBase instance. PocketHost does it for all the PocketBase instances because it's a great security measure. But now you have your backend on a single IP sending a barrage of requests to your PocketBase, and it could end up rate limiting your backend. So here's where I say what to do instead. Direct client access. Leverage JS hooks for privileged operations. You don't need to do privileged operations server-side. You can use JS hooks to write your server-side code just like we were showing in Kingdom. Static site generation. And finally, there are a few cases where you could make a reasonable case for calling PocketBase server side, but it's generally a bad smell that you should check out. All right, so we're going to close out this stream. I'm going to do the intro and then we're going to get out of here.